What's going on, everyone? Chris here with Clutter Reduction Junk Removal. Wanted to make a quick video just talking about a few updates and talk a little bit about some future plans and just give a little bit of a background on what's happening. So, number one, January has been pretty decent. It's been kind of up and down, but the volume is there, so I can't complain. We have a pretty busy day tomorrow. Before I lose train of thought and ramble off into something random, I wanted to talk real quick about Andrew Thompson's Jedi Junk Removal live virtual event, which is February 24th. You can watch it on YouTube and you can RSVP and be entered into the raffle to win three different things: a dump trailer, which he will deliver to you, so you don't have to worry about the delivery fee. I was thinking about that in my head. I was like, do I have to drive to California and drive back with a dump trailer? The second thing is a $5,000 value website by a marketer. I don't know his last name, so I'm not even going to try to pronounce it, but it's Lewis. And then a third thing is $5,000 worth of marketing materials like brochures, business cards, flyers, yard signs, and I think door hangers by, I think it's Junk Blitz Pro. Um, but obviously, those are three very huge things that if you win, that would be fantastic for anybody, especially if you're just starting off. So we are actually going to be flying out to California for this specific event. It's not like a seminar or anything. I'm more so going because I need a little kick in the butt for motivation. I've been in a slump this last few months. I have ideas of where I want to go, but I don't have the motivation to take myself there. And I got other things going on in my life that's just kind of putting me down. And I just feel like it would be a good way to just get away from home for a couple of days. My fiance is coming with me. We've been to California to meet with Matt and JoJo from Sonoma Strong, way back when they were supposed to have the Haulers Ball that got canceled because of COVID. We've been out there for something else, but it's a good time in California. It's like Florida, except not as humid, and I can appreciate that. But that is going to be February 24th, the live event, and then also the YouTube live. And then I think the following morning, we're all going to go walk in a group on the beach during the sunrise, all romantic and stuff, and just talk about bullshit. So that's kind of what's going on there. But if you haven't RSVP'd for the event, I recommend it because you can enter that raffle. And, no harm, no foul. You might walk away with a $12,000 dump trailer. One thing I wanted to push out marketing wise is something that I've done here and there in the past. I've probably even talked about it on the channel, but it's probably been a while. And it's something I'm going to be pushing for a little bit more this year. Actually, two things. Number one is utilize Instagram to reach out to local businesses in your community and just introduce yourself and introduce, here's a couple of ways we could help you solve XYZ problem if it were to arise. And if they respond to you, cool. See if you can meet them in person. Kind of use that as your icebreaker and stop by and hey, we were talking on Instagram. This is what we can do, blah, blah, blah. And just it's just a good way to market to your community of other small businesses. So I'm going to be pushing for that a little bit more often coming up. And then the second thing is getting involved in my community a little bit more. So one of my game plans this year was to try to get more into doing parades and working with the community, when they have toy drives, reaching out to the fire department, the police department and saying, hey, we have a 14-foot trailer that, we can kind of load up from multiple locations and deliver it to wherever it needs to go. I think it'll be good branding, kind of work with the city a little bit, meet some good people. And overall, it's not a bad cause. So that's something that we're going to be pushing for a little bit. We just have to stay on top of the local city events and know who to talk to. So that's something I think could be beneficial for pretty much anybody. Getting a little bit into the background of the business. I know this gets kind of confusing for some people because I get asked about it all the time. What my game plan is with the business. So for a while, actually, let's back up. I left the moving industry not because I hated moving, right? I hated working for a moving company. but I enjoyed the core concept of moving. But I wanted to do something on my own time, on my own schedule, make a little bit more money than I was making there, and just have that freedom to say what you want to say, do what you want to do, choose to take jobs and not take jobs, where you have very little say otherwise when you work for somebody else. And I used to hate that. It was always like a micromanaging thing in my head. So I thought, well, how can I utilize my skill set? Because I don't really have any other experience besides catering and working in retail. And I do pretty well in retail, but obviously you're making like minimum wage. And I was like, all right, well, junk removal is pretty similar to moving. It's kind of like you know, cousin in the field, but doesn't require as much insurance and as much care. And it can also be done solo, so I don't even have to worry about getting people to help me all the time. And that's kind of the route I took. It was more of an outlet to do my own thing. And I noticed over time, I never paid much attention to it when I was working for somebody else, but when I started on my own thing, I acknowledged a little bit more of what my brother was doing. He has a carpet and floor restoration business, and he has a few trucks and like a handful of employees, and he'll go out on the trucks here and there on like big high contract jobs. Like he has contracts with restaurants that are like $250,000 a year. Like he makes sure he's on those jobs to make sure everything gets done properly. Or he might train a new guy, and he might do this and that, and then he usually does operations. But 75% of the time he's at home working on his sports cars. And that's kind of like an idea that I would want to do, is have people doing the work for me, even just two guys and like their own truck, right? And I can go out and do my networking and my marketing, and I can run operations and stuff like that, and like still go out on jobs, especially if they're like repeat clients, like I know personally, you know, or if it's like a big clean out, hop on board and stuff, but not being forced to be on the job every single day. So I think that would be a route I would want to take. I don't think I would want to get much bigger than like one crew in a truck. But of course, time will tell. Maybe I change my mind and I get my ass in shape and I go, sail off. But until then, that's kind of where my like hindsight is for long term. Short term, I kind of still enjoy doing what I do. Like I mentioned, I like the concept of moving. And junk removal, 90% of the time, it's pretty freaking easy. Like I very rarely have jobs where like I'm like, oh, this kind of sucks, or like, oh man, I like wish I had somebody here with me. Not even despite like money, just like in terms of like ease. Like I'm like, it really is just it's easy once you have an idea of how to use a dolly. Like I can have like the worst door frame or stairwell and like just awkward situations and a big heavy sleeper couch that doesn't sit well on the dolly, and think in my mind like this kind of sucks. But that's what the moving is, like it's problem solving. So like I sit there and I figure it out, and you do a couple of shifts and a couple of pushes, and all of a sudden you're through the door, and it's like, all right, well that kind of sucked, and then you can go load it on the truck and you're done. It's freaking easy, something. And I don't mind it, and I know that blows some of your minds. You're like, oh my God, how could you do this? You're going to burn yourself out. I'm like, I really don't think I get more burnt out running the business than I do doing the actual labor. The labor like is only bad when I physically have been injured, whether that's from going to the gym or turning my head too fast in the shower and getting this weird strain in my neck, like I had a junk hunt. That was a nightmare. Or every now and then, yeah, I hurt myself on jobs. It happens. But it's like outside of that, I mean, I don't know. I kind of enjoy like going at my own pace, not having to worry about somebody else banging up a wall or breaking something or doing something stupid. I don't have to worry about any liability issues. I'm out there doing my own thing. I make videos in the truck. That's kind of fun. I'm keeping my eye out for treasures and stuff to, resell, or like cool collectibles to keep. I don't know. I still enjoy it. I think when I start to not enjoy it anymore is when I'll get more motivated to find other people to do it for me. But and in the meantime, I kind of enjoy it. Really quick before this gets to be too long, my fiance Tanya, who you've seen on a couple of videos, she is looking to leave her profession sometime this year, ideally summertime, possibly fall. and she would want to do her own thing, but in the meantime, she would be doing marketing for me and then helping me kind of part to full time doing the labor. And of course, I'd still handle like 90% of the jobs I could still do now, and she'd be more for like a backup. But that would kind of be a game plan, and I think that alone would be a good like motivator to kick me in gear. But that's something that we're kind of looking into. That's something I've always appreciated about Matt and JoJo from Sonoma Strong Hauling is I've always liked that like vision of like working with your partner, and then just having like a third person who's part time or full time, and they handle bigger jobs or work with you, like if your partner can't or something. Obviously I don't want to overstress Tanya. She doesn't come from that labor background, but I just like that always excites me to think about like that kind of situation. So that's something we're going to be kind of considering. At work, she'll be doing my marketing for me, which would obviously be very helpful. But that's kind of where we're at. So if you haven't signed up for Andrew's event, I recommend going to any of his videos. They're on every single description, and just RSVP and just do the live event. I don't think it's going to be more than a couple of hours if you do the one over the video on YouTube. And if you're able to fly out if you want to, or if you're already local, then I will see you there. Please be nice to me. I'm a fragile soul. And yeah, tomorrow should be a good day. I'll try to get some clips here and there. I try not to push my I try not to take video footage of my helper because I don't think he likes social media, even though he found me through YouTube, which is ironic. But anyways, I will be uploading the trailer footage up to now because it's got a large file, and every time I go to edit it and save it, it's like destroying the storage on my phone. So it's not done 100%. I'm going to be finishing it this week, but I'm going to at least get the bulk of it up, and then I'll just throw up like a separate video for the final product. So that's what you got to look forward to. I'm going to talk a little bit about like setting up a marketing like game plan, kind of like a business plan, but not so much like operations because that kind of varies for everyone. I want to talk a little bit more like marketing and networking and planning it by the year, depending on your season. Now, that'll obviously be coming from me in Florida. So if you have like a winter season, it might be a little different, but there's ways around that. And I've learned that from other people. So hopefully it'll give you guys some hindsight when the time comes. But until then, we are going to wrap up what we're doing, and I will see you guys tomorrow.